Hello and welcome to Rev Sports. We're back with the second T20I between India and New Zealand, final leg of the series. And we saw India starting the T20I series with a bang. Abhishek Sharma once again with the fireworks. Captain Surya Yadav coming back among runs. And of course, a positive display of bowling from the bowling department as well. Joining me for this show is Ashok Nambudiri, Bharat Ramraj, and Shomik Chakrabarti, who's joining us from Raipur. Now, Shomik, I'll go over to you first. What's the mood like over there? And oh, I think we're still having issues. Are we having issues with the internet, Shomik? Can you hear me?
No, I think, am I audible, Gargi? Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Am I audible? Okay. Okay. Internet, as you can expect on a match day, it could be a little choppy. So that is to start with. Otherwise, say the mood is in the sense that, uh, first of all, it's T20 cricket, number one. Number two is that this Indian team in T20 format, it's sort of, it's sort of uh, it's a juggernaut. This Indian juggernaut has been rolling on since 2024 T20 World Cup. They have, if you start from the T20, 2024 T20 World Cup, they have won T10 series or tournaments on the spin, including the Asia Cup and the T20 World Cup, and they have won 6 wins. So from that point of view, so you can understand Sharma has been
Shomik, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we're having a lot of internet issues from your end because we're not able to hear you very well. If you can try and change your location, then that'll be great. But there we go. He's out of the stream now. But Ashok, now coming to you. I've titled this live, Is this the best Indian T20I side that you've seen? Because look at it, the kind of fresh talent that you're seeing in this side, Abhishek Sharma, especially at the top, batting fearlessly. Have you ever seen someone bat like that before?
Yeah, Gargi, I think it all depends on what you mean by that question in terms of the best team. So when I think about it, if you ask me, is it the best team in terms of star power? Maybe not, because if you look at 2007 to 2006 or so, we had the likes of MS Dhoni playing, we had Virat Kohli, we had Rohit Sharma, we had Yuvraj, we had Raina, we had Zahir. So that was star power. But if you ask me, is this system strength? Is it a team that is designed to be the best? Perhaps the answer is yes. And I think the answer, therefore, lies in the fact that it's not constituted by heroes. Of course, Abhishek Sharma has been superb. I mean, the way he scored that 84 odd runs at a 240 strike rate is absolutely fantastic. But the point really is that this team is not just built around heroes, it is built around roles. And I think that's the point I want to emphasize that T20 cricket is really about getting your role clarity right. And so, therefore, in terms of whether it's the power play aggressor, whether it is the middle order accelerator, the role that Hardik Pandya came in and scored that brilliant 25. And of course, not even taking anything away from that Rinku Singh innings that he came, and that 40 odd would be the difference really. I mean, in terms of the between both the teams. At the end of the day, India won by 48 runs in the earlier match in Nagpur. And therefore, coming back to the roles, whether it is the power play aggressor, whether it is the middle order accelerator, whether it is who's going to be your death overs hitter, who's going to be bowling, the change that they did in terms of not handing over the new ball to Bumrah. So these are experiments that they're doing, and I've spoken and written about using these 5 matches as a design of experiments. And I think India is doing that in terms of figuring out what would be the best combination before it goes into the T20 World Cup. And therefore, to put it in short, I think it's not a team that's the best in terms of heroes, not in terms of star power, but in terms of design, in terms of role clarity, in terms of perhaps thinking through what each person's responsibility has to be. It's perhaps right up there.
Ashok, interestingly, you say role clarity because the kind of experimentation that we're seeing, many might not agree with the fact that there is role clarity in this team. But what are your thoughts when it comes to that?
It's see with Indian team in T20 cricket, whatever team they put across, even if leave alone Gautam Gambhir, even if there is autopilot around as a coach, you still expect India to do well in T20 cricket because in T20 in the T20 format, sorry, in the T20 format, India's depth is something that will be an envy for many other sides. So you leave alone Gambhir, even if there is an autopilot, even if Gadgi Raut or Bharat Ramraj is the coach, you still expect India to do well in T20 cricket at present because they're at that kind of a level. If you look at the kind of bowling lineup that India have, even if the batting lineup flops for starters, maybe there would be some day when Abhishek Sharma won't fire and India would score maybe getting slightly under par total. Still with that bowling lineup, Bumrah, Arshdeep Singh, the left arm angle, Varun Chakravarti in the form of his life, and then you had even someone like Akshar Patil, a very good defensive option. Hardik Pandey himself is a pretty good all-rounder. So they have that kind of a gun bowling lineup that can really help you to win matches. So India are the favorites. Whatever experiments they do in this particular T20I series, even if it doesn't click once or twice, even if India lose a match or two here to New Zealand side, which I don't think New Zealand are at their best in T20 cricket at present compared to ODI cricket. But even if they lose a match or two here, you expect them to be favorites for that T20 World Cup.
Absolutely. There are a few questions here we'll take before, too many gather in our comment section and we have no time to take any of them. But freaking awesome here is saying in the second ODI against South Africa, Raipur wicket was a belter. Otherwise, it's a sporting wicket. It has hosted only one T20I and both teams have scored a moderate total. You know what? We'll wait for Shomik to come back and speak on the conditions because he's the person on ground and he'll be the best person to talk about it. But Cine Stream Reviews is asking, Surya looked good in the first T20. He got the start he needed. I hope he continues to perform because captain contribution is also very important. Ashok, we've been speaking about this throughout the Asia Cup as well. We only saw one good knock from Surya Kumar Yadav. After that, India has played two white ball series in Australia and then in India against South Africa. But somewhat, Surya Kumar Yadav's bat has been silent. Ahead of the World Cup, this is the kind of rhythm that you want him to continue with.
Yeah, two aspects here. First is what Sinistream Reviews has actually spoken about, which is as a captain, I think Surya has been actually quite good. If you look at the track record, there is no faulting that part of it. And so let's keep that in one bucket aside. Now, coming to actually as a batsman scoring in terms of the string of numbers that he's had, single digit, low double digits, that's not been par for the course. And I thought that in Nagpur, in spite of what seemed like a two-pace wicket, I think he did the job pretty well. If you look at the way he started out, the first two or three shots on the offside, I think he wasn't really focusing on that so far. And I think that's a very deliberate attempt that he made to score all around the wicket. In fact, I did see some stat which said that in the earlier few matches, 30 odd percent of his runs had come from the offside, and it was 70% weighted towards the leg side. But in this match, it was roughly 50-50, and I think that's really thinking through what he needs to do and what he needs to focus on. So I agree that he did come good, and I think if he can actually play a few balls, settle down, and then get into his natural rhythm, that would perhaps be the best way for him to look at how to pace the innings. On a different note, I did think that the pull shot that he hit, he actually crunched down a little bit and then pulled it in his natural style the way he does, to deep mid wicket. And I think that's really indicative of his getting his confidence back. So I think if he can combine these three or four things, I think he's on a good wicket.
Shomik, I trust you can hear me because internet, of course, outside of a stadium is always an issue. But there was a question here asking about the conditions, the pitch, the second ODI in Raipur, the pitch was an absolute belter. What are the conditions like tonight?
It is similar. It is going to be a high scoring affair to start with, because you can remember you mentioned about the second ODI between India and South Africa, and that partnership between Virat Kohli and Ruturaj Gaikwad both scored 100. It is once again, this is a high scoring ground, and although just so far only one T20I has been played here, India versus Australia, and in that match, India successfully defended 170. So, but I think, but over the last 2 years, over the last 2.5 years, T20 cricket has changed a lot. It is the fastest evolving format as far as the game is concerned. And if you see this Indian team, if you compare this with the Indian team of the 2023, even there is a sea change in the sense. Ashok was very right when he said that earlier, when we had heroes, we had star power, was MS Dhoni, Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma. But at the end of the day, what happened? They were all basically test cricketers, but they were so good, they seamlessly fitted into every format. Now, if you look at this team, and the face of this is Surya Kumar Yadav, who is an out and out T20 player. The 90% of this team is an out and out T20. If you leave aside someone like Jasprit Bumrah or Kuldeep Yadav in this team, you start right from the start, right at the top, Abhishek Sharma, Sanju Samson. You cannot play them. You cannot think about playing Abhishek Sharma or Sanju Samson in Test cricket. But they are made for T20 cricket. This guy, and they are greater than the sum of their parts. That is the biggest thing. That's why India have won 8 bilateral T20I series on the spin, plus two multi-nation tournaments. One is the T20 2024 T20 World Cup, and the Ish. And one more thing about this team, irrespective of the conditions, unless, see, in T20 cricket, you are not I mean, the game against South Africa in Dharamshala in the last series was an aberration, lateral movement condition. You get batting friendly conditions, and they are like that. They keep losing wickets at regular intervals. Even in the last game at Nagpur also, India kept losing wickets at regular intervals. But they didn't stop their pace. They continued with their pace. Be it Abhishek Sharma at the top, after that Hardik Pandya, then at the death Rinku Singh, then didn't mind losing wickets, and that is why they bank on batting deep. If you look at this today, maybe there is a little question mark over Akshar Patel. We get to know about the toss because Akshar Patel suffered a cut on his index finger in the first game and didn't complete his spell. So yesterday, that finger was bandaged. It is not something big, but hopefully he will play. But if he fails to make it, maybe Kuldeep or Harshit Rana will replace him. But otherwise, if you look at this, they have all the bases covered, and they know. I mean, they understand the pulse of T20 cricket. This is the speciality of this side.
Gargi, I'd like to make a quick point of what Shamik is saying, if I could. I think Shamik said that T20 is the fastest evolving format of cricket, and I fully agree with that. I think what also happens is that because it is the fastest evolving format, you also need teams which can speedily change their reactions to the game, and to the face of the game. And to that extent, I disagree with Bharat, which is that New Zealand, I think, while of course they are not good in this format as much as they are in ODI, I think the one thing that they do is to react to the game and to the pitch and to the conditions pretty quickly. I'll give you two examples. One, I thought that the Nagpur wicket had large cracks. At one point of time, it was definitely two-faced. I thought it was a bit spongy. But I think, in terms of quickly latching onto the fact that the fast bowlers need to kind of leverage that slow ball. And I think the maximum number of wickets that they got in that match came through pace deception. I think that's a quick reaction from New Zealand. Or for that matter, the example of Sanju Samson, I think they got him out really, first two deliveries, the fielder was in the slips, and then Rachin Ravindra moved to short mid wicket, and they forced him to play that shot, and he got caught out, right? So I think reading the game, reading the conditions, and quickly adapting to this fast evolving format, I think that's key to success. And I think that's irrespective of whether it's New Zealand, whether it's India, that same principle will apply.
Yeah, I'll just add a point on it. See,
Of course.
I just said on the fact that New Zealand lack power hitters at the top. See, what happens in T20 cricket is in power play overs, you have to fire. In the power play overs, you have to fire. And if you look at stats, it tells us that a lot of games are decided based on the power play overs. And that is why New Zealand are struggling a bit in this format, especially when they play against bigger teams. And that is why in the T20 World Cup in 2024, they crashed out of the group phase. And when they made a couple of teams with better power hitting prowess at the top of the order, Australia and England in 2025, they got hammered in all those four games. So I think they're very good T20I side against some of the lesser teams. Let us not confuse T20 cricket with one day cricket when I'm bringing up teams like England, because in one day cricket, it almost seems like they're beyond repair. But in T20 cricket, they're still a formidable force. So that is where I think they're struggling against bigger teams like Australia, India, and England. I'm only restricting it to T20 cricket here because in power play overs, they don't have the hitters. Hopefully, when Big Bash League finishes, they will get Team Seifert or Finn Ellen playing here, and one of them can score big in the T20 World Cup. If one of them does well in the T20 World Cup, I think they have a better chance because in the power play overs, your openers have to go big. And that is what our Abhishek Sharma does.
Yep. And while we will come back to the discussion, we'll talk about the technicalities of cricket and India versus New Zealand. But let me add a little bit of spice to the show. Gautam Gambhir replies to Shashi Tharoor on Twitter, quote tweets him. And we haven't spoken about this because there's been so much, drama and developments with Bangladesh cricket and the World Cup that this completely went out of our eyesight. But this is what Gautam Gambhir said. Thanks a lot. When the dust settles, truth and logic about a coach's supposedly unlimited authority will become clear. Till then, I'm amused at being pitted against my own, who are the very best. Ashok, I'll go to you first. How do you interpret this? Do you think this has a lot to do with, obviously, Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli? Whenever there's the ODI series going on, everyone's saying that they're not on speaking terms. Rohit and Kohli don't speak to Gautam Gambhir, even though multiple times we've seen that they do practice together, they do interact. But still, how are you interpreting this?
For sure. I think, all said and done, this is a theme that will play on Gautam Gambhir's mind, irrespective of whatever the interaction is or whatever the comments are. And I think the fact that he's actually referred to it means that, in terms of the debate about Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli being ousted, has to do with him. I think that is perhaps at the back of his mind as a perception, and which is where the comment comes from. But if you step back from this, I think between, if I could dare say, the philosophies of the school of thought that Shashi Tharoor comes from, or where Gautam Gambhir comes from, these are two different schools of thought, right? And a clash is bound to happen. So I think on one side, the comment was innocuous. It was not meant to be an accusation of any kind, but I think it was read as that, and it's perhaps indicative of what the mood currently is.
Shomik, how are you seeing this? Because there is always conjecture about Gautam Gambhir. There are a section of people who think that Gautam Gambhir is running Indian cricket because of his experiments and all of that, and failures as well. But what are your thoughts about this?
Gargi, first of all, tongue in cheek, I take serious exception to Gautam Gambhir's tweet, because what happened? It happened in Nagpur, right? And after doing the match report, after filing the press conference copy, and another copy came on Tilak Verma, I came back to hotel, and before that I saw Dr. Tharoor's tweet. After coming back to hotel, it was around 1:30 a.m. um, I bumped into Gautam Gambhir's tweet and I said, no, not again. Right now, you are putting out this tweet, and at 1:30 a.m., I have to file a copy because this is the story. This is the story of Nagpur. I have to file a copy. So I filed a copy around 2 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, and sent it with the message that put it out first thing in the morning. So that was done. So I take tongue in cheek. I take exception to Gautam Gambhir's tweet. On a serious note, see two things. One is that Gautam Gambhir, there is a school of thought. Gautam Gambhir, being the head coach, he shouldn't have reacted like this. But then again, Gautam Gambhir is entitled to his opinion. At the end of the day, in Indian cricket or anywhere for that matter, it is the men in suits who decide. It is not the head coach or the captain or whoever it is. Even when you see a very, very powerful captain, what we saw during the time of Saurabh Ganguly, Saurabh Ganguly was a very, very strong captain and had his way because he had the backing of Mr. Jagmohan Dalmia. So at the end of the day, it is the man in suit. If when MS Dhoni was such a strong captain, then he had the backing of Mr. Srinivasan. So that's how things work in Indian cricket. That is said, but we also know there is also an allegation that Gautam Gambhir has forced Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma out of the test setup. Okay, that is once again subject to conjecture. What we saw, if Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma were scoring runs in Test cricket, nobody could have touched them. Virat Kohli wasn't scoring runs in Test cricket for the 3 4 years. He lost his consistency, and that's why his average came down to 46 from 50 plus, and that's why he couldn't complete 1,000 runs. Rohit Sharma sort of became a walking wicket towards the end of his Test career. Yes, but Gautam Gambhir, once again, you have, as a coach, you have suffered two home Test series whitewash. That alone can make your job untenable as a Test coach. Whatever transition or whatever it is, you cannot lose two. You cannot lose two home series and suffer clean sweep against New Zealand and South Africa. Transition or no transition, and the buck stops at him. He being the head coach, the buck stops at him. Too much experiment. Sometimes Washington Sundar, for example, sometimes Washington Sundar at number 3, sometimes he is at number 9, backing the wrong horses like Nitish Kumar Reddy in Test cricket. Gautam Gambhir has art. Even in England, from where India came, returned with a 2-2 draw, there was selection error. If Kuldeep Yadav were playing at least a couple of tests, India would have won that series. So Gautam Gambhir has failed as a test coach. Gautam Gambhir has been doing excellently well as a white ball coach, but Gautam Gambhir is under pressure. From my sources, I can tell you, India will have to at least qualify for the finals in the Champions Trophy. A few days ago, the BCCI had a meeting with VVS Lakshman in Bombay. I'm not trying to read between the lines because Mr. Devajit Saikia, the BCCI secretary, officially said it was about the academy, it was about the COA and youth development. But then again, I refuse to believe the conversation was restricted to that only. Gautam Gambhir will have to deliver in this Champions Trophy. Nobody will take into account what you have done in the bilateral series, 8 consecutive wins. If you don't win the champions, if you don't win, or if you don't at least qualify for the T20 World Cup finals, you are a failure and you might face the hit. That is another thing. As far as communication is concerned, as long as the professional communication is there, a professional working relationship is there between Gautam Gambhir and the two, Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma, that is fine. They don't need to be the best mates. Simple as that.
Bharat, your thoughts on this? Gautam Gambhir, I mean, there's a reason why when there's something controversial going on, Gautam Gambhir does not come out for a press conference.
Sometimes it's better if he keeps quiet, but that is how Gautam Gambhir perhaps works. I remember even my Vizag press conference, suddenly from nowhere, he started going after a particular IPL franchise owner. He didn't have. That was unnecessary. He simply indirectly took up his name and it went to something else. Something similar here with a tweet. Why do you want to go and respond to a tweet as a head coach? But having said that, see, as it's already been noted, Virat Kohli is someone who lost form over 5 years in Test cricket, and that is why his average went down. Or for the matter, Rohit Sharma lost form right at the end of his career. So I don't know to what extent Gautam Gambhir had that kind of power to throw them out. Maybe it is also Virat Kohli himself deciding to hang up his spiked boots. That could be the case. It needn't be Gautam Gambhir going across or someone else going across and telling him to just bid adieu to Test cricket. So that could also be the case. It is very much open to conjecture. But having said that, yes, Gautam Gambhir is definitely under pressure. India have suffered two whitewashes, though I do believe that it goes far beyond just the head coach. I do think India are facing some problems in the longest format in domestic cricket. The kind of cricket that I see, I don't feel India have that kind of talent coming through. I'm thinking about the longest format. I'm not looking at the shorter formats or the T20 cricket T20 formats. I don't think India have that kind of batting talent coming through like what it used to be. One of the main reasons could be because youngsters nowadays want to play T20 cricket because that is where the money is. So if someone like Vaibhav Suryavanshi wants to hit every ball for a six, that is absolutely fine because he's thinking about how can I become a professional cricketer via the T20 cricket route. So it's as the years go by, with passage of time, it's going to be difficult for Indian cricket as well in terms of doing well in the longest format of the game, just because that youngsters will definitely prefer Test cricket. So a part of it is Gautam Gambhir's problem, all the experimentation that he did has done over a period of time. But I think part of it is also because India don't have that kind of resources in Test cricket or in the longest format or in domestic cricket at present.
Yeah,
All right.
I'd like to make a quick comment on that. I agree with what both Shomika and Bharat said. I think part of the issue, obviously, Gautam Gambhir will have to take that responsibility. But I think the larger point that Bharat is making, which is that India has a systemic problem. I think if you look at just two examples, take a look at Sai Sudarshan. He came in. Everyone said now that Virat Kohli is exited, he is the perfect number three, and let's put him into that spot and let's see him deliver. He didn't deliver, and I think it goes beyond talent. It goes beyond attitude. I think it's a systemic issue of whether our system is capable of ensuring that you are smelting the gold till it is perfectly pure and ready to go. And therefore raises questions whether we should have an India A team that should travel more widely, get more exposed. Are we, jumping the gun and saying somebody is ready for it and therefore calling it an experiment? I don't think we have the luxury of doing that. And I think we need to be clear that the person is now ready, and ready means absolutely ready for the longest format in the world at the international stage. And this applies to Nitish Kumar Reddy as well. Two examples, but I think if you really look at it a little bit more, we'll come up with 4 or 5 such examples.
Yeah, Ashok, I think a bit of blame lies at the feet of the selection committee also. They need to stop picking players for Test cricket on the basis of the performance in the IPL. If you look at the players, Sai Sudarshan had one good IPL, and based on that, he was picked for the Indian Test team. The same for Nitish Kumar Reddy. You cannot pick players for the Test side for red ball cricket based on the performance of the IPL. I was talking about Sai Sudarshan with a former India batsman, and he is from. I'm not revealing the name, but you can. I mean, it would be pretty much clear. He is also from Chennai, a left-hander, and I was having a conversation with him, and he told me, look, Sai Sudarshan is going to struggle in Test cricket because he goes across, and every time he will try to play on the leg side, it would be uppish. The most of the times it would be uppish. So he has limitations as a Test player. So and he is a renowned coach also. So from that point of view, I think a bit of blame should lies at the feet of the selection committee. They need to be more judicious in terms of picking players for red ball cricket.
Can I just add one point, small point to it? Just one small point
Yes, of course.
about Sai
Go ahead.
Sudarshan. Yes, one has to agree that Sai Sudarshan has technical weaknesses. He perhaps loads up too early. That is why his front foot goes far too across, and Shardul Thakur did trouble him in the Ranji Trophy in that fashion. But to selectors' credit, Sai Sudarshan did score 197 in tough conditions against Australia A while playing for India A in Australian conditions, and under 100 also he scored against Australia A. So perhaps they considered India A performances for Sai Sudarshan. That is not something for me to decide sitting here in Bengaluru, but that could be one of the reasons why Sai Sudarshan came into the equation, because he did well for India A while playing against Australia A in Australian conditions when the ball was moving around. So it also tells you that the selectors are not very sure about Ranji Trophy somewhere, because the standards of Ranji Trophy, and they're looking at maybe India A's performances. Although the sample size for Sai Sudarshan was very much less. He scored 100 against Australia A, and after that I think he scored 197. I think that could be the reason why he got into the Indian Test side more than the IPL performances.
Okay, guys, big breaking news coming in. Scotland will officially replace Bangladesh in the ICC T20 World Cup. Soon we will have the official release from ICC as well. So this is, one of the biggest turning points in world cricket that we have seen. Lots of politics involved, lots of posturing involved as well. But this is, of course, a sad day for world cricket as well, because if Bangladesh goes out, that means that it's just not as stable anymore. Shomik, take it away. Scotland replacing Bangladesh.
It was always on the cards, right? Bangladesh were busy, were trying to buy time, nothing else. And this, their latest letter was before the ICC's Disputes Resolution Committee. Maybe they don't know how it works. I can give you the example of 2018, and I still have of all the documents sent to me. I still have those documents on my email sent to me by a former BCCI office bearer. So Michael Belloff, a Queen's Counsel, he summarily rejected Pakistan's plea that India breached the MOU of playing bilateral cricket with Pakistan. Here also, see, disputes resolution committee is like that. It is first, it has to be ratified by the ICC board, and the ICC board picks the independent lawyer or lawyers. So that is one thing. Bangladesh, and I feel for Bangladeshi cricketers. I mean, they were just like puppets. They couldn't do anything. Um, the Bangladesh Cricket Board, Aminul Islam Bulbul, a very good player who scored a century against India in Bangladesh's first test. He was powerless. Everything was controlled by the government. That Mr. Nazrul, the sports advisor, Asif Nazrul, and everything by the caretaker government. Now, the fact of the matter is that Aminul Islam Bulbul is now the first Bangladesh Cricket Board president who has the ignominy of the national team being thrown out of an ICC event because they refused to turn up. They refuse to adhere to the ICC clauses. So he faces the ignominy. At the end of the day, nobody wants a participating team to be thrown out. But Bangladesh have only themselves to blame. What to do? Scotland are coming, and we welcome the Highlanders.
We do welcome them, but Ashok, a sad day for Bangladesh, especially the cricketers who have worked so hard over the years to be able to be a part of the World Cup. But what are your thoughts? What are your first thoughts?
Yeah, before that, Gargi, I think news just coming in is that Akshar and Bumrah are out today. That's what I just got a message. I'm reconfirming that. But to answer your question, yes. Look, the standoff between the Bangladesh Cricket Board and the ICC was not a dispute about venues. It was not a dispute about safety of the players. It was really about a debate whether global cricket is governed by fixed rules or is it governed by political negotiation. And Bangladesh, frankly, without a pathway, without alternatives, without a pathway to a solution, is now left out in the cold, and it's going to be a long, desolate path with very few allies. Really, it's going to be difficult in financial terms, difficult in commercial terms, difficult in political terms, difficult for the sporting ecosystem to come up. Obviously, for the players, it's a huge, huge letdown by the administration and by the political community. And to that extent, it is an extremely sad day. I think linking, Mustafizur Rahman not being allowed to play for the IPL to what is a non-India, non-BCCI point by saying I will go against the ICC and go against them in terms of a schedule towards the last stage where there's very little time and which is going to put logistics, put fans, everybody to discomfiture. I think that was not done, and therefore clearly it seems like ill-advised. It seems like poorly thought through and completely unexpected at these levels. It's a huge, huge letdown for their cricketing community.
And Ashok, if you look at it, this is not the first time. 1996, Australia and West Indies refused to travel to Sri Lanka. Mr. Dalmia sent a combined India and Pakistan team to Sri Lanka to see, and there were genuine threats. I mean, that was the height of the LTT movement, and blasts were happening for fun. And yet, Mr. Dalmia sent a joint Pakistan-India team to play against Sri Lanka. And when Australia and West Indies refused to travel to Sri Lanka, they forfeited their points. It is not that all their matches were in Sri Lanka. They had other matches in India also. So from that point of view, they didn't have to pull out of the World Cup. 2003, England refused to travel to Zimbabwe because Tony Blair was at odds with Robert Mugabe, and that's why that was a political decision. England had to forfeit points. Simple. This is not that this is for the first time, or that an ICC chaired by Mr. Jai Shah is doing. This has been the trend set, and this has been the standard protocol. This has been the thing. Once ICC, they overwhelmingly lost, Bangladesh Cricket Board overwhelmingly lost at the when the motion was put on voting. When the motion was put a couple of days ago, when the motion was put on vote, they overwhelmingly lost 14-2. And even after that, they stick to their stand, knowing full well they were completely isolated in the ICC. And they wrote a letter to the ICC saying that why there should be double standards. In Pakistan's case, India have adopted that hybrid model. So why is that? First of all, before the Champions Trophy, there were genuine security threats in Pakistan, and that security assessment came from the ICC security team. After that, India said, no, we are not going there. We will be playing our matches in Dubai. And the ICC board accepted that. And as a quid pro quo, the ICC board also passed the resolution that until 2027, all India-Pakistan matches will be played at a neutral venue. That was the decision taken by the ICC board. It is not that BCCI is taking the decision or the ICC office bearers are arbitrarily taking the decisions. This decision has the rubber stamp of 14 members, 14 members in the sense full members and ex officio. So here also, this is a decision taken by the ICC board, like the hybrid model for India-Pakistan game was taken by the ICC board. So Bangladesh, there is a fundamental error in Bangladesh's judgment, and unfortunately, the cricketers, Lytton Das and company, are the worst sufferers. Thoughts are with them, but that's how it is. What to do?
Quickly, before we come back to this topic, before I come back to Bharat, yes, I will quickly come back to you. But playing 11, Sanju Samson and Abhishek Sharma, the fiery opening partnership. Ishan Kishan, Surya Kumar Yadav, Hardik Pandya, Shivam Dubey, Rinku Singh, Harshit Rana, Arshdeep Singh, Kuldeep Yadav comes into the team, and Varun Chakravarti. No Jasprit Bumrah. Now, this is, I don't want to say this, but this match is now secondary to what's happening in world cricket. But Bharat, back to India, back to Bangladesh, because Scotland ICC press release will come very, very soon. And if anyone who's watching us is just joining, it has been confirmed now. Our sources have told us that it is Scotland who will replace Bangladesh in the ICC T20 World Cup, and there will be a press release and a statement from ICC very, very soon. Bharat, reaction.
Yeah, first of all, I have to say it's a good day. It's true that it's a sad day for Bangladesh cricket. It's a sad day for ICC. It's a sad day for cricket, but also it's a bright day for Scotland because you remember in the Euro qualifiers, cricket qualifiers, regional qualifiers, they finished last, but I think in the fourth place or fifth place, fourth place, and they finished behind Jersey. They just won one match. They struggled in that Euro qualifiers, and if you look at the net run rate, Jersey had more wins net run rate as well. Unfortunately, they lost out to Italy. As it happens, Scotland with a ranking of 14th are getting in, and Jersey with one more victory I won't get in because obviously it's based on rankings, but that is how it works. So the other side, other way to look at it is it's a bright day. It's a good day for the Scotland team, despite not doing well in the Europe qualifiers. They have somehow got in. Anyway, coming back to Bangladesh, what I can say is yes, it's a sad day for them. Finally, it is those Bangladeshi cricketers who will lose out because you remember that Bangladeshi cricketers, unlike say Afghanistani cricketers or cricketers from other nations, Australia, England, New Zealand, okay, leave out India because they only play IPL, but all of the players from all of the teams go and play various leagues. They get opportunities, but with Bangladesh, not many players get opportunities in leagues around the world, around the globe, maybe only few of them. So this was their chance to showcase their skills, showcase their talents, but it's not going to happen, unfortunately. And it's most likely because of the Bangladesh government, Bangladesh caretaker government. They don't want Bangladesh to go out and travel to India. But unfortunately, that is how it is. And hopefully, Scotland will do reasonably well in their group. And coming back to this match, yes, Bumrah has got rested, and I think Aksar Patel was hit on his leg or on the lines, and that is why they're resting him. That's what Surya Kumar Yadav somewhere said. Aksar is missing out because he got hit in his last game, yes.
All right, then. On that note, we'll take your leave. Of course, the
Yeah,
match starts.
I told you, Gargi, that Akshay suffered a cut on his index finger and didn't complete his spell in the first game. Bumrah, I don't know. Bumrah is resting, but I don't think it was the right decision. It would have been the 10th anniversary of Bumrah in international cricket. So from that point of view, it would have been better if he would have played this game. But then again, it is the team management's decision and also obviously Bumrah's decision. But who won the toss? Who won the toss and who would be batting
India
first?
won the toss.
So India would be chasing, right?
Yes, India won the toss and chose to bowl first. And there are changes in the New Zealand lineup as well, I believe.
Michael Bracewell.
Yeah, Michael Bracewell is out. So we have
No, Michael Bracewell is in the team.
Team Seifert and Matt Henry are coming in. Team Seifert and Matt Henry are coming in. Global sinking.
So this is the team. Give me 1 second. I'm just putting up the graphic on the screen. This is not the one. This is the one. Devon Conway, Tim Seifert, Rachin Ravindra, Glenn Phillips, Mark Chapman, Daryl Mitchell, Mitchell Santner, Zachary Fawkes, Matt Henry, Ish Sodhi, and Jacob Duffy. So
hopefully for them, Seifert will do well for them, hopefully, because they need some power hitter at the top. That is why I think they're struggling a bit against the better team. So hopefully from their perspective, Seifert will get those runs at the top of the order.
All right. On that note,
Gargi, we cannot sign off before you are making predictions percentage-wise.
Percentage-wise, I think it's 60-40. Not even 60-40. Let's do 80-20. Correct.
Okay, fine.
Correct math skills.
Great. Fantastic.
80-20 in favor of India. All right. Now we'll finally take your leave. Thank you so much, Ashok. Thank you so much, Shomik and Bharat, for joining. And to everyone who's watching, stay tuned to Ref Sports because a lot is brewing when it comes to ICC and the BCB drama. Of course, we've broken the news that Scotland is going to replace Bangladesh in the T20 World Cup. Let's wait for the ICC official release, and then we can come back and discuss more. Thank you so much.